What is going on, college basketball fans? Welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be grading my subscribers' brackets. So we're going to look at their March Madness brackets. We are going to grade them either W, L, or mid. I'm going to rate them. You know, it's going to be a W if there's a decent amount of upsets, if I like your champion, if I like your Final Four. But if it's pretty chalked, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're automatically getting an L for your brackets. If it's too crazy, I might give you an L, and I might give you a mid just because, you know, for some respect for having the balls to make some ballsy picks. So I'm ready to get into it. I just want to say subscribe if you guys are new. Hit that like button if you guys enjoy. And we do have a quick word from today's sponsor. Guys, I am super excited for March Madness this year. All the buzzer beaters, the upsets, the Cinderella runs. And if you guys are looking to go to some of these games, whether it is in the first round, the Sweet 16, or even the Final Four, I got you guys. I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek. It's helped me find really good deals on some WVU games and some other college basketball games that I have attended this year, and it can do the same for you guys for these March Madness games. SeatGeek will have your back, and this is my favorite feature. It rates the ticket prices from 1 to 10, so you know when you are going to get a good deal. If it is a green dot, that means you are getting a good deal and you might want to go for getting those tickets. But if it is a red dot, that means it might be a little bit too expensive. You want to avoid that and get the better deal. And you know, I came through for you guys. You guys can use my code DANIOLOGY for $20 off your first purchase. $20 off your first purchase using promo code DANIOLOGY on SeatGeek. Make sure you click the link that is in my description because that will download the app and automatically have my code in your account so you can use it later. Thank you once again, SeatGeek, for sponsoring this video. Alright guys, our first one is coming in here from Bennett, and he sent me one all the way back in 2023, so shout out him for being a real loyal subscriber. He actually predicted the FAU Final Four run, so shout out him for that. Let's take a look and see maybe what upset run he has this year. You know, what's he cooking up? What is Bennett cooking up with this bracket? 2 years ago, he predicted the correct 9 seed to make the Final Four, and this year, I'm seeing where he's going. He's got a 10-seeded Vanderbilt that I immediately notice in the Final Four. Okay, that is not a popular pick that I've been seeing, but given the matchup set up for Vandy on this run that he has, I don't hate it. So let's immediately go over to this East region and break it down. So he's got Duke over Mississippi State, and then Oregon beating Duke. That's not a horrible pick. You know, trust Dana Altman. They got win over Alabama this year. I think, as I mentioned in my East breakdown, I think that if anybody beats Duke before the Elite Eight, it's gonna have to be Oregon. It's just got to. It's got to be Oregon. And then we look at Vanderbilt's run. We got Vanderbilt over St. Mary's, of course, then Alabama. And then he's got VCU coming out over BYU and Wisconsin. Vanderbilt could beat VCU. That's definitely possible. And then Vanderbilt over Oregon. So I actually really like that run. Is it going to happen? I'm not sure. It's probably still unlikely. But I see the vision. And that's a W, man. Automatically, I can see you got Auburn and Houston, 2 1 seeds, and then a 4 seed, Maryland over Florida. And I said if anybody beats Florida before the Elite Eight, it would probably have to be Maryland. And then he's got Missouri over St. John's, which I also said is actually a decent matchup for Missouri just because they play different styles of games. You know, St. John's plays a defensive game. They're going to force turnovers, where Missouri's going to go. And he's got the UNC Wilmington upset over Texas Tech, which I said is maybe the more likely 14-3 upset. And I know he sent me this bracket before I started talking about all these things, so I definitely see the vision. I'm trying to see if there's any other huge upsets I'm missing. You got UC San Diego over Michigan, which is a popular one, but not necessarily a bad pick whatsoever. High Point over Purdue, and he's got Troy over Kentucky. So that may be a little overboard because he's also got Troy all the way to the Elite Eight, which is interesting, but not impossible. That one may be a little bit overboard, but this one, to start us off, definitely a W bracket by Bennett. I see the vision here. This is the W. Guys, let's take a look at Hey Google Play Renegade. And an interesting picture of Rudolph there, Mason Rudolph, with an image, somebody's face on him. Is that Renegade or this guy's name? Is that him? I don't know. But let's go ahead and grade his bracket nonetheless. This is the top half of his region. He's got Auburn over Michigan State and Duke over Alabama. And is this going to be chalked? We'll see. He does have Liberty in the Sweet 16, so that's not chalk. And Akron over Arizona. Interesting stuff there. And he's got BYU over Wisconsin. So very interesting, but I would like to see, at least something other than a 1 and 2 in the top half of this region for a in the Elite Eight. But he's also got UC San Diego and Yale. So he's got two 13 seeds up here, both 13 seeds and both 12 seeds coming out of the second round. And he's got Yale advancing to the Sweet 16. So that is ballsy. It's like a combination of some chalk and also going too many upsets, in my opinion. I feel like if you go Liberty and Akron, you can't have both UC San Diego and Yale also in your bracket. That's just my personal opinion. So, honestly, not off to the best start, but I do want to give him a chance with the bottom half of this region. So, he's got 1 and 2 again and 1 and 3 down here. No! Siri Renegade, dude. I might have to give you an L. He's got another 13 over a 4. He's got 3 13 over 4s. It's like a combination of too many upsets in the first round and then chalk to the Elite Eight and Final Four, where he's got all 4 1 seeds in the final. This is an L. I'm sorry, Renegade. I got to give you an L. Next up, we got my man, Jeshua. Shout out Jeshua. He's been a subscriber of mine for a long time, so I appreciate you, my man. This is I guess this is the bottom half of his bracket first. We can kind of see the top, but he's got Houston, Kentucky, so that's a 1-3. Florida and St. John, so 1-2. So a little chalky, but, we're going to look at the top half of that bracket first. And he does have a nice little run by UNC Wilmington to the Sweet 16. I like it. That is a 14 seed that I do like. It is my favorite 14 seed right now. And he does have Clemson over High Point, so he's got that High Point upset. So that's not bad here in the bottom half of the region. He does have both 1 seeds coming out. Let's look at the top half of this region, though, or of this bracket. He does have Michigan, okay, so, and Alabama. So he doesn't have 4 1 seeds. He has a 5, and he's got a 2. So that's good. But for Elite Eight, he's got Arizona over Duke. Interesting. I've seen that a couple of times. 4 over a 1. And then he's got Alabama over Arizona. And he's got New Mexico as an Elite Eight run. So that the top half of this bracket definitely saved it, in my opinion. So he's got a 5 versus 10. He's got a 4 versus 2. He's got a 1 versus 3 and a 1 versus 2. So that's not too bad at all. Joshua, I'm gonna give you a W. Next one's coming in here from Taylor Hicks. Shout out Taylor Hicks. And whoa. Okay, off rip, I'm noticing Lipscomb to the Final Four, which would be the first ever 14 seed to make it to the Final Four. And I see Montana over Vanderbilt to make it to the Elite Eight. And then Duke over Montana. And then we got Florida over Missouri. Gonzaga over Tennessee, which is what I did have in my Midwest region as well. And he's also got Troy, another 14. So 2 14 over 3s, 3 14 over 3s in the first round. All 4 14 over 3s in the first round, and one of them's going to the Final Four. Maybe a little too ballsy. I'm sorry. I got to give you an L. I respect it, but this has to be an L. We got Nate Don't Miss, and we can see all of the bracket. Okay, so we got Michigan State over Auburn. I've seen that as a popular 2 over 1 in the Elite Eight. Arizona over Alabama. So he went the opposite of the bracket we had just a little bit ago, and Arizona to the Final Four. And then Tennessee over Houston, another 2 over 1, and then Florida over Texas Tech. So not bad. So he's got 2 2 seeds, a 1 seed, and a 4 in the Final Four. And do we have some upsets? Not really in this region. No real upsets in this region either. VCU, so not a lot of upset. He got Lipscomb. Okay, Lipscomb and then Liberty as a 12/5. Okay, this isn't bad. I'm gonna rate this a mid bracket. I don't know. It feels pretty mid. In my personal opinion, I just don't necessarily trust Arizona or Tennessee to make it to the Final Four, even though I do think Tennessee has the path to do it this year. So if they're going to do it 1 year, I do think it would be this year for Tennessee, but I also don't necessarily believe in Arizona either, so I'm going to rate this a mid. This one, we got one from VV Slays Noobs. So here we go. Shout out to him. He's also been a subscriber of mine for a little while now. So this is, I guess, the bottom half of the bracket first. He does have Gonzaga to the Final Four, Duke to the Final Four, Auburn, Texas Tech. That's a pretty good Final Four. And then Texas Tech over Auburn in the Final Four game. That's pretty cool there. I like that, actually. Marquette to the Elite Eight over Michigan State. I don't hate that. North Carolina over Lipscomb, not bad at all. I think if Marquette does make a run, that would be the path they would have to take. Down here, Texas Tech over St. John's, I like that. Texas Tech over Florida, not bad at all either. I mean, I think this is a pretty solid bracket. McNeese here has a nice little run to the Sweet 16. You got VCU making a deep run to the Elite Eight. I like this bracket a lot. Let's see if I can see the top half all the way. Oh, here it is right here. Yeah, is there any upsets I'm missing? I don't think so. I think, yeah, I'm going to rate this a W. It's a solid bracket. Our next one is coming in here from Lord Pickle. He says, sorry that it's so small. That's what she said. Okay, next. It is pretty small. That's what she said as well. Let's see if I can kind of see what's going on here. So we got Florida, Michigan State, Duke, Tennessee. So 1s and 2s in the Final Four. Clemson over Houston. He's got 1 and 2, Florida, St. John's in that region. 1 and 2, 1 and 6. He's got BYU going a nice little run. Does he have some decent upset picks? UC San Diego, Liberty, High Point are his big upsets. This is a good bracket. You know, I would like to maybe just one bold pick to the Final Four, maybe. I'm going to rate this a mid. We got one coming in here from Drew, and he says first ever bracket, and actually it's a lot of pictures. I guess we can probably see it in two, right? So this one, we got Duke over Wisconsin, and we got Michigan State over Auburn to make the Final Four. UC San Diego upset. No upsets on this side. Okay, so that's decent. You know, I've seen those ones a little bit. He says, I know it's chalk, but it's a buy-in group. Do you guys have to go in chalk for the buy-ins? I would go risky still. You know, it's just money. Next, this bottom region, we got Florida and Houston. So 3 1 seeds and a 2. I don't love it. Honestly, I'm sorry, I got to go L bracket, man. I'm sorry, I got to go L. This one's coming in here from Spencer Williams, and he's a BYU fan. Is there bias? Let's see. He switched it up, so we're not going to look at this first one. Let's see what he switched up. Was he cooking with this? We'll see. So this is the bottom half. He's got Colorado State to the Sweet 16. I like that. It's a nice run. Gonzaga to the Final Four. I agree with him there. And he's got High Point making a run to the Sweet 16 as well. So that's a nice upset run there. Nice upset run. Gonzaga, Florida, that is the same two teams that I have in my Final Four out of those bottom two regions. So I guess I can't necessarily say that's an L, or else I'm been saying my own bracket's an L. And then we got Michigan State over Auburn. This is a very popular 2/1. I don't know how I feel about Michigan State in the Final Four. I'll be honest with you guys on that. It's a very popular pick, but I'm not going to hate on it. And then here we see a little bit of BYU bias, but I had the same matchup. I can't give this an L. This is very similar to my bracket, except I had Iowa State over Auburn instead of Michigan State over Auburn. So other than that, it's very similar. And then I had, a couple more upsets. But I'm going to rate it a W. I can't rate it an L, or else I'd be rating mine an L. Got one in here from RL, and he says, hey, Danny, here's a bracket. I hope you look at it for your upcoming video. A lot of people have hype surrounding a potential deep run for Louisville given the home court advantage in Lexington, but I have Creighton forming a run of their own. So, okay, interesting. High Point getting some love. Okay, let's take a look. Top half of the region first. This is a nice screenshot that he sent me. Holy W. Let's appreciate that we can all see this whole bracket right now. I appreciate that. Okay, he's got UC San Diego and Yale pulling off the big upsets, and Creighton over Auburn. So that's interesting. That's interesting right there. Like you said, you know, a lot of people pulling for Yale or for Louisville to go on a nice little run, but he's got Creighton now, that same 8-9 matchup, beating Auburn and going on a run all the way to the Final Four, beating Auburn, UC San Diego, and Creighton on their way to their first ever Final Four. They've been to an Elite Eight, been to a few Sweet 16s under Greg McDermott, doing nice. So that's a nice run. Lipscomb over Iowa State as well. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. Let's take a look at this one. You got Duke over Alabama. I don't mind 1-1-2 matchup in the Elite Eight when doing your brackets. I don't think it's chalk as long as the other ones are interesting, and he definitely did that there. And Liberty, you know, winning first round. VCU. Yeah, I like the top half of this bracket. Let's check out the bottom half. Let's check out the bottom half. So we got Houston winning it all. I was not expecting that. And then Maryland, Creighton in the Final Four. Very interesting stuff. He's got Maryland beating Florida on their way, and Texas Tech in the Elite Eight, and then Houston over either Texas or Xavier is very interesting. I don't hate that as a run coming down. This is definitely a W bracket. I like it a lot. Houston over Duke. I like it. Houston over Maryland for sure. W bracket, man, for sure. W bracket. We got one just now. 2 minutes ago, he sent me this to get it in before I finished making this video. He says, if you're doing any videos, I guess I can do it for that. So did he send me one last year? Was that? Yeah, this was last year's bracket. So shout out to JD. He says, damn, you gave me an L. So last year I gave him an L. Let's see if he can redeem himself. Let's see if he can redeem himself right here. Maryland over St. John's. That's interesting. You know, I haven't seen that one. I've seen a few Maryland to the Final Fours, including our last bracket, and then Houston over Tennessee. Is there any big upsets? He's got Colorado State. Okay, this is interesting. This is interesting stuff. Let's see what the top half of this bracket's looking like. Auburn and Duke, 2-1 seeds, so a little chalky. A little chalky. And no other big upsets. I can see why he got an L last year. It's just too chalky for my liking. It doesn't mean it's going to end up being a bad bracket, but in my opinion, I just don't like a lot of chalk. So he's got 3-1 seeds and a 4, which isn't horrible. You know what? I'm going to upgrade you a little bit. I'm going to give you a mid, but I would have liked at least a few more first round upsets and at least one double-digit seed in the Sweet 16, which I know I was big on that last year when I was grading brackets. I wanted to see at least 1 or 2 double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16, even if it's a 10 seed. You know, even if it's a 10 seed, just something. Show me some life of an upset. Is there life in there? But I'll give you a mid this year, buddy. One from Sam Netta. Let's take a look. NC State class of 2028. Congratulations on getting into college, my man. Good shit. Let's take a look at his bracket. This is his bracket right here. Beautiful screenshot. Thank you very much for that. We can see it all in one picture. Very nice of you. Michigan State, Florida. He's got Louisville over Auburn on a nice run, and then Michigan State beating Louisville. I don't hate that at all. That's nice. Lipscomb over Iowa State. Seen that a couple of times. Bold. I like it. I like the boldness. I like people who pick bold. VCU to the Sweet 16. Okay. So far, so good. Clemson over Kentucky for a 5 seed to the Final Four. I like that. And then Florida over Texas Tech. So we got 1 seed, 2 seeds, and a 5 seed. And then Florida over Alabama to the championship. Colorado State is an upset. Lipscomb, High Point, VCU, run. W bracket. W bracket. Let's get one in here from Jay Beast. He says, in case you're still taking brackets for the video, you got yours in on time. So let's take a gander at it. Let's take a gander at it. Kind of an L screenshot, so I'm going to try to go through this one quick. Michigan over Michigan State. They're 0-2 against Michigan State this year, but I like the boldness. Florida, Duke, Tennessee to the Final Four. You know what? I don't love it. I don't love this bracket, guys. Colorado State upset. Unless I'm missing it, I don't really see any other real notable upsets. I'm sorry. This is an L. This is an L bracket. We got one from Drunk Abby Jr. And he's got a tiger drinking some liquor. Son of Drunk Abby. Oh, Abby is the tiger's name? The Auburn Tiger? Okay, he's an Auburn fan. We figured that out. So he's got Auburn over Marquette. Interesting stuff. I don't hate that. I like a 7 seed to the Elite Eight. And then Alabama over Arizona. We've seen that a time or two before today, so that's pretty good. I like that. I can't really see the rest of it, but I see he's got Gonzaga to the Final Four, Texas Tech. That's a solid Final Four, and then Auburn over Gonzaga. Gonzaga over Alabama is a good move that I like there. Most people would take the 2 seed over the 8 there. That was a W move there by Drunk Abby. This is Drunk Abby's son. So how old is he? Is he of age to be drinking alcoholic beverages? I don't know. But all I know is he made a W bracket. All right, guys. This is going to be our last one from J-Dog. Looks like maybe an Oregon State fan. Okay, J-Dog. Let's see what you're cooking up with here today. He says, for the video you said you were doing on grading other brackets, if you use this one, I changed some things. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Okay, so he wants us to use this bottom one. Let's see what he changed up. So he's got Michigan State over Auburn. If one big takeaway I've seen from today's brackets, a lot of you guys like Michigan State to the Final Four. I don't like Michigan State to the Final Four this year. I don't see it. I could see them to the Sweet 16, maybe the Elite Eight. Final Four, I'm not seeing it for Michigan State, guys. I think if anyone other than Auburn make it in that region, I like Iowa State, Texas A&M, or maybe a Louisville run. Guys, I hate to break it to you. That's just my personal opinion, though. So I'm not going to grade your L's off just purely that alone. But he's got Florida, Duke, and Gonzaga as his other Final Fours. Are there any big upsets I'm seeing in here? I love the upsets. Not a ton. I mean, Gonzaga to the Final Four is his main upset run. But even in the first round, I mean, UC San Diego is his big run, I guess, to the Sweet 16. I like it. Overall, I'm gonna rate it a mid bracket. I hate to end it off on a mid, guys, but I've given a lot of you guys some W's. So you guys were cooking with these brackets, and some of you guys sent them to me as links to your tournament challenge. Unfortunately, you can't view people's brackets until after the tournament started if you just sent me the link to the tournament bracket challenge. And otherwise, I'm sorry if I didn't catch you guys in this video. I tried to get to most of you guys that did send them in. So I appreciate all you guys that did take the time to send me your bracket to be in these videos. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. Come join the stream tomorrow to watch some of these first round games with me. We'll be live for the first game of the tournament tomorrow morning on Thursday. So come hang out with me. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching.